So let's get started. If you remember rightly, this is how far we got last time. I actually finished sewing that head up on the back. So this is the head that had the eyeline tied inside. If you want to see any of this again, the last 2 weeks of the February tutorials, they're all about making more dolls' heads, so you can see all of this in a larger way where we're tying the eyeline when we make large dolls. And then there was this one here that I started to needle felt, so the face is ready, and this one is ready now to get the arms and legs. And with this one I will show you a technique of how you can add eyes into it, which is basically by embroidering the eyes into it. And for this, the eyes and the mouth, for this you need some embroidery thread. You get all of this in our starter box for making dolls, house dolls. This is sort of what typically you get in there. A lot of oh god, chucking everything down on the floor, just move things out of the way a bit. There you get your wool to stuff the head and make the head. You get hair wool in there, that's the small one. You get embroidery thread for eyes, nose. No, you don't get embroidery thread for noses. You get your pipe cleaner, your different skin color, stockinette, and you get your felt pieces for making clothes. That's the small one. If you go for the large one, then you get pretty much twice the amount, I'd say, if not more. Definitely get loads more. Your cotton gauze, lots of colors for skin to choose from and for clothing, yeah, that's basically sort of pretty much the same. You get your little shoes. I'll talk about those a little bit later. So they're available on our website if you want to make a lot of little dolls, house dolls. Right, let's have a look how we can gosh, probably shouldn't have taken that off. I don't know, I never take that off, so normally I just tease that out. So don't take that off if you normally don't take it off. I don't know why I did that. I can't find my little scissors, so I'm having to use big scissors. I did look for them, but they have magically vanished for a bit. Right, so you thread your embroidery thread. Now you don't need to use all 6 strands. You can actually split it. I'm going to do that actually. So I'm just going to split 2 off, and I'm only using 4. So you don't have to use all of the embroidery thread. I'm sort of thinking larger dolls, then that's much better. But for the small dolls, you don't need to do that. You use this singly. So, oh, just realized I haven't got that light switched on. Just excuse me for a minute. One more light. I've got so many of them. Oh, that's a bit better. Right. So let's, and what you do is you secure the thread at the back. So remember, that's the front of the face. You secure it at the back. And it doesn't matter what it looks like at the back unless you're a perfectionist and you need to make that look nice as well. But don't make a face at the back. That would be really weird, having a face underneath the hair. So, but if you want to be tidy, then with your neat with your threads, then please do that. So you just need to go in and out a couple of times, and then you go all the way through the head to the first eye. We're trying to keep that in that eye line. When you make these features on the face, keep it minimal, so don't go crazy with this. I will also just say that I've launched straight into making that face because I want to catch up from last week. But we have got a very special price up for Grubs today, and that is the brand new book of Stuart Hillard. I'll show you all of that in a minute. And the competition question to win yourself that book, because Stuart is going to make an appearance in a minute, is I need you to tell us what accessories you would make for your doll to distinguish that mini me, because that's what it all boils down to. It's, yes, it's the features and maybe some facial hair and whatever, but what accessory will you give your doll, and how would you do it to distinguish your little character, your little mini me that you're making? That is the question today. So fire away, give us ideas. This is hopefully something that we can all learn something practical from. And while I'm chattering away, I have secured my thread. I have sewn on 2 eyes, so I've gone a couple of times to the across there, underneath to the second eye, and now I need to do the same with the mouth. So let me just quickly go to the front camera again. So there you go. I've sewn the two eyes on, literally just a couple of stitches back and forth. And I thought maybe whilst you're doing this, you can listen to or even watch what what message Stuart has for us. And I will also just show you before the little message and after what you are up, what you can win. And that this price is only for the Tuesday. This is only for today, Tuesday, the live stream on YouTube, and this does not apply for the Thursday restreaming, for which we've got another price which I will show you too. But first of all, this is for today. To win this, just put in the comments here on the chat what are ideas for accessories have you got for the mini dolls and how would you do them. So it would be really great to hear that. And let's just have a look. Let's just say hello to Stuart.
Hi everybody, it's Stuart Hillard here. It's lovely to join you today on Steffi's group video. Thanks for that, Steffi. Steffi and I met about a year ago, I think. It's probably longer, but with lockdown in the middle of it all, who knows? Time's got a bit like that, hasn't it? But Steffi and I met and we instantly hit it off. I've always loved felt and sewing with felt, but also needle felting and wet felting as well. I've dabbled at all sorts of crafts over the years, and I love sort of dipping in and doing little projects. So when Steffi and I were on Create and Craft together for a Sewing Sunday, and Steffi brought out the little mole kits, I couldn't wait to get going on that. It's something really wonderful, isn't there, about crafting something that sort of evolves right in front of your very eyes in a short time. And we got talking about Steffi's book on making dolls, and I just loved and do love the concept of it, of particularly making dolls that you can put your own personality into and your own thoughts and feelings and emotions too. And I love the doll that Steffi made, which is a mini version of me. I'm looking rather hairier at the moment. Again, thank you, lockdown, for that. But I just adore this little guy. I've actually, this is possibly a little bit strange. I've got a little collection of me dolls. One is a big kind of knitted doll, and I've got some peg dolls as well that were made of me. So I've got a little collection. It's rather nice, and I occasionally look at them and get them down and we have a chat, but it's really fun. And so if you're making a little mini person at the moment, good luck with that, and I'd love to see them. Look forward to seeing them. Now obviously I'm really a quilt designer and fabric designer and sewer more than anything else, and I absolutely love colour, and I've sent a book for Steffi to raffle or give away. It's my latest book called Simple Shapes, Stunning Quilts, and it's a book all about quilt making using really just very basic shapes. And there's 100 quilts in the book. And they're all very approachable, and if you love colour and pattern, worth a look. Have a look on my website anyway, which is www.stuarthillardmakes.com. It's all one word. Or if you follow me on Instagram at Stuart Hillard Sews, you can just click the link through. And if you don't already, come and join me. It's a lot of fun. I hope you have a great day and enjoy your sewing, knitting, felt craft, watercolouring, Zentangling, whatever it is you do. Have a great time. And Steffi, thanks for having me, and thank you all for joining me too. Mwah. Oh, and a little kiss. Mwah. From little Stu. Bye.
Hello. Okay, this worked. So that's really nice of Stuart to join us. And just to repeat the competition question. So Stuart's book, which is his newest book on quilting, is up for grabs today on Tuesday, the 9th, I think is today, of February for you to win. If you tell us what would you use to accessorize your doll? How would you do it? Give us tips on materials so that I think what the thing that most people might be struggling with, this is sort of my suspicion, is that you might make a mini me, and to make them really make them just like that person that they have to have something that is very special to them. So if, for example, my mum, which I'm making, I've made her a mini set of knitting. So I've actually made a couple of knitting needles, of which one I lost already. So I've been trying to find it, but it's been eaten up by the carpet here. So it's a little ball of wool hanging down, and I've used wire and a little bit of silk clay to stop the stitches from falling off. And this is actually the string that comes around our kit, so it knits up quite nicely. And tell us what you would use to accessorize your doll, whether it's glasses or maybe a bag, maybe somebody who always reads the newspaper, maybe somebody's constantly on their phone, maybe somebody plays computer games. How, if you gave them a set of computer game controllers, how would you make them? That's the question. So give us the idea what it is and tell us how you would do it. And moving on swiftly now, if you've watched from the beginning, then you would have seen lots of funny things happening, but mainly you would have also seen that I have made 2 eyes here on that doll. And now all I'm going to do is the mouth, and I'm trying to move quite fast here because um, it's getting on with time, and this doll making takes so much longer, and I don't want you to leave me prematurely. So there's let's get the other one, the 4. I've used 4 before. So I've split my embroidery thread again, so I've just got 4 here, threaded on the needle, and then exactly as with the eyes, I'm going to establish the embroidery thread at the back, just a little bit a little bit back and forth, just a couple of stitches there. It's one of those days. I can feel it. It started I started my day by doing an exercise class, which I do most days, and it's becoming harder. I will be honest. I'm finding it harder to motivate myself, but I do it, and then I'm happy that I did it. And it was a perfect sunrise this morning, so I had to, of course, take photos and do a little video about that this morning too, because I feel like that needs to be shared. So if you've seen that on my Facebook page, then you probably hopefully appreciated that I've done that. Right, I'm just evening out the threads so that they don't look pulled one way or another, and then I'll just secure the rest of my thread here and just cut it loose again. I don't mind what the back of the head looks like because we're going to cover that with hair. If you're making a bald person, then you might have to give them a suitable hat, because I genuinely don't know how you can keep it bald at the back without it looking like he's had some severe surgery on the back of the head. So this is the back of the head, and this is obviously now the front. So I'm going to put this one to one side because I'm going to use the one that I made last week, and all I need to do now is I need to make some arms. Now you can take the arms from the end of this pipe cleaner here. I've done that here already, and there are different ways of doing the hands. If you've got my book Making Soft Dolls, then it will tell you in a different way. By the way, I'm using here, this one here actually, I'm using our luxury organic core wool. Absolutely love it, love it. It's very bouncy and very springy. Oh, it smells of clean sheep. I love that smell too. So all I'm going to do now is, if you're a needle felter and you've done any of our mice or any wire armature, then you know the trick already. I wrap the wool around the end of the pipe cleaner so that now I can bend the end in, and I've got that bend covered with wool, and then I just tease the wool out and I make a nice tight wrap, such a nice tight wrap that I don't need to needle felt it. If you go wrong, just undo it and then go over it again. And you can start sort of bulking out the arms a little bit too. So sometimes it works to turn the pipe cleaner around and twist this around your wool. If you are a needle felter, then obviously if you need to felt the wool down, do so. Otherwise, the best way if you're not needle felting is just to put another wrap over the top and tighten it. So I'm just going to the middle here. In the book, it tells you slightly different. I've changed my mind actually since I've written the book, that you can you don't need to put the arms on and then wrap it. You can actually also just make the arms separately and then add them to the body later. But the other way it works fine as well. So if you're following the book, then it's a slight deviation from that. And do the same on the other side, obviously. Bend the pipe cleaner around and then go over with it with the wool. And what I do is keep the wool really nice and flat like a ribbon. That's the main thing you need to remember. And then I go round towards the middle of the pipe cleaner, just adding the wool and teasing it out as you go along. It's always better to have a few thin wraps than lots of fat, well, just a fat wrap, and then it sort of comes off. Go all the way to the very end and fasten the wool in. So I've got a set of arms here now. If you like the idea of putting a little stockinette cover here over the end of the arms, then and that makes them look like that, then that's fine too. It just involves a little bit more sewing when you add the clothes onto them. And I show you in the book what that looks like. If you haven't got the book, it's definitely worth getting, because you get all these templates in there to make the clothes as well. They're quite easy to make without templates, but if you're sort of trying to get used to making it, then it's a good starting point. Right, we've covered all of this. These are the different heads. And this is what I've been trying to tell you, that in the book I've actually put the pipe cleaners onto the end of the body first and then wrapped it all with wool, but you can also just do the arms and legs separately. And if you want to cover the hands with a little bit of stockinette, then you can just cut out a tiny little square. The measurements are in this book. Put it over the top and then tie it really tight around the base, so it's a single layer of the single knit stockinette, and that sort of makes a little, almost like a little mitten. And then when you add the clothes over the top, you sew them straight into that hand bit at the base, and that gives it a nice finished look. But if you are not planning to make these dolls because they get played with loads, then just making woolly hands is absolutely fine too. And then you do the same with the legs, so you do need to take a new pipe cleaner. Again, I'm not giving you measurements here because everybody's different in terms of height. So I've got one chap here, he's quite tall. Then I've got another tall lady here. I've got have I got, oh yeah, there's a shorter one here. So it all depends how tall you want to make your people, so that they're all slightly different in height and in length. And the arms, some are longer, some are shorter, you know, just like real people. So you're gonna have to maybe decide on that individually on your doll. But I would say that you could make the legs as long as the arms. So, and I'm just breaking that pipe cleaner to wrap wool around it. Now for feet, if you're not making a trouser wearing person, then I'll not show you, but I tell you when you're making the top that you just have to make it longer to turn it into a dress. But if you're making legs, then you have to make another set. But this time you are actually covering all the way to the middle, so you're not leaving a gap. You're going all the way. Use your nice wool. So what I do is I tease it out a little bit, so I've got a longer strand. So wrap it around the end, bend the pipe cleaner in, and then go over it again. And that way you get to cover the length of the leg. I want to give a big shout out to one of our groupies and makers friends, Donna. Donna, it's her birthday today, so happy birthday, Donna. I hope you're having a lovely time in the snow and hope you get spoiled rotten at home. I know by now everybody's probably had a lockdown birthday, Not quite yet. You might have just sneaked past it, but maybe by the end of this, I don't know if there will be anybody with that hasn't had a lockdown birthday. By the way, you can tell I'm not being too precise with this because this is going to be covered by trousers, so it's actually quite nice if it's a bit looser. And so then you take your little doll, and then what you would do is, and I've prepped one earlier, so actually let's just do the arms on this one. You wrap the arms around the main pipe cleaner just once, so twist them around, and you could even do this higher up with this one, obviously, because otherwise you're gonna push all the stockinette up. So do it a little bit higher up. There you go. So then you've got your arms there. So used to making fairies, which is slightly different, but also almost the same. And then you will have already got that pipe cleaner shortened because you will have used that for the legs, the end of the pipe cleaner. I'm working 2 dolls at the same time here. And then with the legs, you actually, what I always think is a good guide is to have the legs sort of like that gap about the size of the head. I think that works quite well because the top of the legs turn sort of into an upper body a bit, or a lower body, I should say. And and then with this one, you twist the main pipe cleaner around the legs, so it's the other way around with the arms than it is with the legs. And it would be good to have the same length legs here. There we go. So that's how your person will look like, a little bit disheveled. But now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to, in fact, I'm going to work with this now. You're going to wrap more wool around the whole shape, so that you're basically building up bulk. So if you're making a person that's a little bit more stately, then you need to add more wool around them. If you're making one that's very slim and tall, then obviously you adjust the amount of wool that goes around the body. And when you make the clothes to go over the top, so I'm just adding a little bit of bulk on there, and I'm keeping that quite soft. Then you have to make allowance that for some you will have a longer and wider garments than for others. So there's no needle felting involved in this, and I've just very quickly sort of dressed my doll with the woolly underwear that it definitely is required in this weather. Now I have got lots to say about making the garments, and the reason why I've got lots to say is because if you have got felt pieces, and we do a whole selection of felt pieces, you can get a muted collection, you can get a rainbow collection. I mean, we do so many different colors. I've just pulled a few out I've had to hunt here. But if you've just got a plain one, then that also works quite well. And what you can do is you now make the garment to measure, and there is where you need to decide whether you're making a long dress or a set of trousers or whatever. And basically you are doubling up the length. So say you want to make it from here, from the neck down to the feet, then this is the length that you need. But if you're only making a short top, then you will only need to have that much, and the width needs to be so that the arms are just about poking out. So this seems to be quite a good shape just to do a shorter top, and you just cut this to the at the moment just to the size of the upper garment. And then what I do is, and again, I am not a dressmaker, we're making these clothes to measure. So if you imagine, allow a little bit on each side for the body to fill, and then all you're doing is you're cutting along the body and then under the arm. So again, allow probably twice the width of the arm on so one on the top and one at the bottom for the actual arm, and then to make a identical copy, just fold this over as identical as it is possible, and then just cut that same square out here. It is this, working with this felt is so forgiving, you wouldn't believe it. So this is how I would make the top. Yes, you're quite right, there's no hole to put the head through, but that comes next. So what you do is to put the head through, you just add cut a little hole in there, and then you're going along the sides, so maybe 2 or 3 centimeters, maybe 2 more. And then what I do is I put a longer slit in the front. So now you have made an opening here. You can have the longer slit at the back, and then check if it fits over the head. And if it does, then that's great, because you've already got a garment here ready now. So what I also wanted to show you is that if you haven't got colorful felt, or you want to make, maybe you know somebody who always wears a tartan colored in top, or always wears a flowery top, you can actually get your color pencils out and you can draw on there. Now I've got a collection there, just normal coloring pencils, some Sharpies. It doesn't matter what you use, it really is, it doesn't matter whether they're good quality or not such good quality, and then you can color it in. And it could be, for example, you could make flowers, just draw on it, make flowers. I've actually made a really lovely, so if you're making maybe somebody who loves cooking and they have a particular color apron, like with this one here, I just drew lots of fruit on the apron, strawberries and oranges and cherries and lemons, and so you can do that. Or if you're making a little skirt for somebody, I've just drawn flowers on there. This is not felt that I bought all printed, this is all hand colored in and hand drawn on, and it's very forgiving. So you can just make little dots for flower insides and then just color in the outsides, just roughly. There's no, you really don't need to be artistic to do this. Just as long as you create a pattern, then that sort of is half the battle won. And then you can maybe give it a little stalk. I'm doing this upside down, remember, because that's obviously, the garment will be like that, and maybe little leaf on the side as well there. And then so I'm going to turn this around so I can actually see what I'm doing. And then you could do another variety by doing, maybe the inside is yellow there, just a few more, and then make the outside pink, like just flower heads without the stems there, like this. I'm making this up as I'm going along. So remember, we need lots of ideas for making accessories for our mini-me's. So there you go. Just, you can see that you can make quite a colorful blouse. You could also, if you wanted to, as I have done here, because I'm making a mini-me for my mum, I've actually sort of created tried to imitate a knitted jumper. So there's and to do this, what I've done is I've just used different colors, try and remember which colors they, and all I've done is I've just gone sort of across, making little longish strokes to go across. And then on the side here, actually let's use this, on the side here you can recreate like a rib by just going in the other direction. Obviously do this down here as well. So you can be quite creative in coloring in your own felt, and it will look like you've got an amazing pattern. So if you know somebody who always wears the same type of or that's a real, I want to say a landmark, but that's not, obviously not a landmark, but it's one of the, makes that person so distinct for who they are, then then you can color that in accordingly and make a little rib here, the front as well, so that it looks like it's knitted. It's a different color actually, but no worries. And then you can continue your, what did I use yet next? Oh yeah, that one. So continue your knitting pattern as it was down that end. There you go. Another row, 2 rows of pink, and then you could continue it with a yellow, with a green, yellow, and then so on, so that you've got the front and the back the same. And once you've done that, then you I've also tried something else on the inside just to show you. Then you can put that over the head, and now you have to sew this onto them as they are right now. So you need to use your needle And now you can choose whether you're going to use an embroidery thread to make it a feature. So if you want it to look like a nice blanket stitch on the outside, then you can use a contrasting, but at the same time a color that sort of blends in. Or you can sew so that you can turn it inside out, and you just have a seam rather than a nice edge. That's entirely up to you, whichever way you want to do this. Here I've used a white contrasting thread blanket stitch and then sewn up the front like it's laced. So that's entirely up to you. If you are sewing this so that you have to turn it inside out, you will lose a little bit of the space, obviously. So oh, there's my sewing needle. So I'm going to use an embroidery thread. Gonna go for pinkish one, pinkish purple here. And again, you can use it as the full 6 ply, or you can split it. That's entirely up to you, however you want to do that. And I'm just going to split this. So splitting can sometimes be a bit tricky because it's obviously also wound around, so it's not they're sort of wound around each other, and you have to sort of let it allow to unwind again. Okay, I'm making a mess of this now. Let's just get this to unknot. Which way am I going? This way. Yeah. Okay, I'm a bit candid today. I do apologize. I've got to shorten this, I think. Okay, I've managed to put a knot on it. Not good. Okay, put that out of the way. Try again. It works better with shorter lengths, and probably do it slower. I was like really rushing it. So just do it slowly, separate it, let it unwind itself as you're doing it, and then you're not getting it all muddled up. So the idea is that you actually sew the clothes on so that they stay on these dolls, basically. And I'm going to start here on one sleeve. And so just leave the end of the thread inside your clothes there. And then go round the outside a couple of times. There you go. So when you have little fists that are made of the stockinette, then you would obviously have to sew the end of the sleeve onto that little stockinette fist. So which I'm not doing now because that would take too long. If you want to see how this is done, there is another tutorial on our YouTube channel when we did key worker Doll's House dolls, and there it shows you a little bit more in detail how to do this. I think there are also accessories that you can it shows you how to make a little satchel on our YouTube channel, so you can definitely go looking for those. For me, those mini dolls, they are really important in that you could literally make a mini me for somebody who you haven't seen in a long time, or maybe you're making it in memory of somebody, like I am making it for my mum. And whilst I'm doing this, even though I'm doing this live, I'm trying to sort of put thoughts into it, what I remember about her. It's not necessarily if I have got a picture and I'm copying it exactly, but also for me it's capturing her character. And I know that she loved knitting, and you know, she would have probably worn a knitted garment, and so just copying a knitting pattern over the top of a piece of felt has been fun for me, because that I sort of imagine she would have appreciated that if she could see it, and the charm and the special effect about it is really in the detail. So do take time in the detail, even though the basic doll looks quite simple and very nondescript. It is whatever you make of it afterwards. So remember, the competition today to win Stuart's newest book on quilting is to give us ideas of how to accessorize these mini dolls, and not just what you would do as an accessory, but also how would you do it. Give us ideas of how to do it. What would you use? Because we need to recreate miniature things of what you're trying to copy. So if you are trying to make a jug, you know, what would you use for that? Would you use a straw? Would you use silk clay to model something? Just give us ideas. So Emma, at the end of the competition, will draw a winner. And today the live stream on YouTube is only for the for Stuart's book, and then on Thursday when we're re-streaming this, I will show you in a minute what you can win. Well, actually I should tell you, because you'll probably be jumping at your seams on Thursday if you still don't know what's up for winning. So you know that we're going to do the standing chicken in March, which is the I'm going to go on the big screen and sew this up while I'm chatting to you. So we're going to do the standing chicken in March. Oh, I can't get to things today. There we are. And the standing chicken here, that's the one that you're going to make with me in March. She's a fun bird. That's basically it. So she's standing on her own 2 feet quite comfortably, and you can make her however you like. You can give her really big hips, so you can build this part up a lot more. You can give her longer wings. You could turn it into a cockerel. And what's really nice about it is that you can have a play with the eyes, so you can make them look can give them pretty eyes with eyebrows and eyelashes, or you can make them look quite cross, and that's basically the project for our make along in March. And for this you can win yourself a pack, which I had somewhere. Oh yes, it's there. So this is the prize that you can win on Thursday when you're watching on Facebook live with us at 7 p.m, which is this week, and today's the 9th, so tomorrow's the 10th, so it'll be the 11th of February, where you can win yourself is that even right? I don't think. Oh yeah, that's right, because Sunday is the 14th. That's Valentine's Day. So you can make the standing chicken with us, and in the pack you get all the materials that you need to make the standing chicken, and the instructions here as well. That's basically what you can get. Of course, you can buy this too. Just going to check what's in there in terms of. Where's the wire in there? Just want to make. Oh yeah, the wire is in there. Okay, so because you need to make the legs, but we're going to do all of that together. There you go. If you've made the owls with us last month, then you have a bit of a head start, and that's basically it. That's to win on Thursday during the Facebook live stream. And I'm just going to continue sewing here. I just have a quick look while I'm doing this, if I can, what people are commenting, and let's just snip that off. I'm really looking forward to next week when we make a large head for one of the larger soft dolls. So I show you different versions of how to make the head. It is quite a technical video, so I hope that you will still come and join me, because you never know what might go wrong, and at least if nothing else, you get a good laugh out of it. Yes, so I'm looking forward to that one as well. And we are just about finished planning the or we will be planning. Oh yeah, no, March, there's more to March than just the chicken. We're also doing an Easter egg tutorial. And then I had a really bright idea yesterday of what we're doing at the end of March, because I think there's lots of stuff happening in March, because it's a long month. And then there's also the unwrapping happens, I think, on the 1st. And then on the 2nd is already a Tuesday, and it just goes on and on and on. So there's lots happening in March that you can follow us more than what we normally do. And I can't remember what that end of the last day of March, which is the Tuesday on the 30th of March, there is a live stream, and I'm sure we had a really good idea of what that is, and I cannot for the life of me remember what that was. My brain's just too full. So let's just have a look what people are saying. Right, we've got oh gosh, so much. I'm gonna have to read from the bottom up, I think. Standing chicken pack. Emma is sharing that where you could get that. If you want to make along with me, then it's time to get that now. Okay, I cannot sew and read at the same time. I've just realized. Okay, as much as I want to, but I can't. So I'm just going to sew this up. I know it's done, because there's only a couple more things that I want to show you now. And I'm going to do the hair at the very end, I think. Or maybe I do the shoes at the very end. But I'm just sewing up the side of that jumper, which I haven't quite colored it in at the back, but that's okay. It's I can do that later still. So I am really, really excited to see your mini-me's. And of course, what you need to know is the competition for, not today's competition, but the competition in general for the mini-me ends at the end of February, on the 28th of February. I'm just going to call up that screen so that you can read for yourself. So you show us your mini-me next to the person that it's meant to represent. It can be a photo of that person. It doesn't have to be the real person holding it, for all kinds of reasons. Be very tricky to get that happening with my mum. And then you can win yourself the Making Soft Doll books that's signed by myself, and a £15 voucher to spend in our shop. So that's basically the price that's up for the winner of the Mini-Me competition. And with anything that we do, we don't judge your work. We think that everything you do is absolutely amazing, and all we are going to do is put you in a big pot, and then luck will be helping to get you drawn or not drawn. So that's basically how we do it. So I've got my I'm just going to go on the overhead camera so you can see. So I've sewn the little jumper together now here. The sleeves are quite long, but that's okay. It's better to, I mean, if you can, you can turn them over. That's something else you could do. The felt is so forgiving, and it really wants to stay in that position that you put it in. So you could actually turn the sleeves over. You could even draw a little rib on the turned over sleeves. So that's totally possible. And then as you've done the top, you can also sew trousers. Now if you're doing a dress, you will have obviously come a lot wider, a lot longer rather, and then you put a little extra disc underneath, and you stuff the dress with wool so it's nice and soft, and then you just sew that little disc underneath, and then the doll can stand without falling over, just by being on that flat shape underneath. So, and then what I have done earlier is I've actually sewn some trousers, and they're flared trousers because my mum, I'm making a young mum, my mum when she was younger, and they're just sewn up. Again, I've laid it on top of her. I've made them a bit shorter so that they're slightly short as well, but they don't need to be short. I thought it was more of a summery look. And then you slip these on. So the trousers you make separately without sewing on whilst the doll is there. And dress your doll with the trousers. There you go. Pull them up. You can have the top over the top or tuck it in, whatever you prefer. There you go. Then you can sew up this little opening here at the front and at the back, depending what you prefer. And then what I want to do is next is I want to give her some hair, and I'm doing that after I've dressed her, because then I don't have to have extra bulk on the head while I'm trying to fit a jumper on her. So she looks really sweet, actually. I really like her colorway. It's very spring-like. So she's a happy little spring person. And you can obviously bend the arms into the right position so she doesn't stand there like a lollipop lady. And for the hair, you've got choices. Well, I have got choices. I've pulled this out. This is the boucle yarn that we sell for doll hair making. This is the mohair yarn that isn't curly but still quite sort of frizzy. In your starter doll pack, you get different hair colors. This is the large variety. So you have the alpaca, you get some pencil roving, there's some natural curls, or you can have this cream, or I think we call it cream wool top, which is also really great because my mum's blonde. I maybe should show you a photo of her again. They're not great photos because I printed them on a printer, and there were photos of a photo, so not the best photos in the world. But I was thinking of, like, you know, in those days it was all perms, so I thought maybe I should go for the curly hair. And so if you do this, you've got two choices. You can either sew it on. So the way to sew it on is where you literally have a thread and needle and you sew it on. But I'm actually going to try and needle felt it on, because that's another way of doing it. When you needle felt it on, you have to be really, really mindful that you're going straight into the stockinette. So this could potentially break your needle quite easily. So don't needle felt how you would normally do it, where you just go, that's not what you're doing. You're actually going to very gently push the wool into the head as you go along the stringy part of the wool, and that way you can fasten the wool in quite easily. If you've got sort of any yarn, you can sew the yarn on. You don't need to buy anything particular. Just if you've got a bit of yarn, you can do that too. So I'm giving her hair cover as I'm going along, just going up and down the hair. There will also be parts of that head that are slightly thicker. Ah, there, I've broken a needle. Damn. Oh, I didn't say that. Got my I've got my, what's it called again? What is this called? I can't remember what it's called now. Maybe it says it on there. Sharp spin. That's it. Sharp spin. So I've just shown you that needles can break quite easily. Get rid of your needle in a safe way. Go to the next one. So if it is definitely safer sewing it on, and sewing it on, you just use a thread that is in harmony with your with your hair color, and I promise you won't see it. Let's have a look. So these curls, for example, they have been sewn on. You can just about see the thread there. So I can't even see the thread that I've used, because I've probably used the green bluey thread. So that's been sewn on. These here have also been sewn on. Yeah, I've used a thread for those, so that you can't see that. In fact, I haven't needle felted any of these on, because I thought I'd try that today. These have been sewn on as well, so you can't see the thread. So sewing them on is absolutely fine. And even with a longer hair, this is the alpaca top. If you give somebody long hair, you don't have to sew it so vigorously that you see every single stitch. Just sew it into strategic places so it doesn't expose the head in the wrong places. And then but if you're needle felting, as I'm adamant to do this now, then you have to watch your needle. And it's always a bit of a pain when you break your needle, because that needle's gone for good, but also you have to make sure you've got all the parts to dispose of. So yeah, just make sure that you be careful when you use your needle and felting it on. And I'm just literally poking it in. So I'm not needle felting as I would normally do. As soon as I did that, that's when I broke my needle. So I'm going all the way around the head. And what I want to wait for last is to show you the little shoes. I can show you them now, but these little shoes, we do sell them. They are perfect for these little mini dolls. They have a tiny little hole in the top, and the pipe cleaner fits exactly into it like that. The reason why I'm not putting them on just yet is because you have to glue them in, and if I'm manhandling the doll, it will probably be they will probably just fall off, because the glue needs to dry before you can mess with the dolls again. But I really love those little shoes, and if you want to give them extra stability, if you're making a doll that may be played with, then you can make the trouser legs extra long and glue the top of the shoes onto the bottom of the trouser legs. I've done that as well. I'll show you here. So he's got his shoes, but actually, can you see that the trouser leg is actually sewn onto it? So that's just another little bit of extra help to keep the feet or the shoes on his feet. There's so many things that I could talk forever and ever about this. Having had 4 children, I'm just sort of imagining why you would want to make these little dolls. But then, you'd also just might want to make these little dolls because they look super cute, and they could be just a fun thing for you to do. Not everything needs to be made to have a purpose. Just making it can already be the purpose, especially if you're making it because you're thinking of somebody, and that's good enough a reason. Not everything has to have a purpose afterwards. So tell that to all your husbands who all the things that I've heard people are telling us, who think that you're building, why are you making all these things? I'm being very stereotypical here, but it's only of women that I've heard say that husbands are saying, oh, why are you making this? And there's lots of them. So if your husband's listening right now, no, it wasn't her who told me. Everybody says it. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to have a purpose. Just the fact that you've done it and you had a bit of fun and you've escaped for a little while into a world of your own, of making, and just that you have had pleasure looking at it once you've done it, that is good enough. It doesn't have to have a purpose in the world other than that it's made you happy. So that is, and I think especially with doll making, that can be a really deep and meaningful reason to make little dolls. Not everybody is into it. I know that. I know. But maybe you're just not into it because you haven't found the purpose yet in yourself, why you're making it. Right, there we have got some curly hair on her. My mum's never had really long hair. So I think I'm going to stop with having her having the short hair. I might just come back to the front and no, I think that's okay. I'm going to leave it like that and cut that thread. There we go. So what I need to do to finish her off is to sew the front in a little bit, colour in the sleeves. I haven't coloured in the back, haven't sewn that up yet. And now I'm going to give her these shoes. Now, I thought you'd be interested to know that they don't need to stay that colour. And I had my Sharpies out for that as well. So I have actually given her some funky shoes. I've made them purple. That's not purple. I've made them turquoise with a green bit at the front. So they're like flower power shoes. And all I need now is some glue, which I've got here. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue into the that little hole there. That's ready to take. And because you've wrapped your pipe cleaner, it should be big enough to fit in there. If it's too fat, then you might just have to squish it down a little bit. So all I'm going to do now is I squish the foot in there. 1 and 2, and then I'm letting this dry before I do anything else with my doll. And I promise you I will show you to her all finished when she's got her knitting in her hand. And the nice thing about this felt is it will really sort of go into the direction that you want it to go. So I'm going to call the competition as finished now. So if you haven't submitted your comment yet, then it's all done. There you go. Oh, shoes falling off. I shouldn't probably hold her up, but just leave her standing. But these shoes will now make sure that they can stand on their own 2 feet, which is good if you can have a doll that can stand on her own 2 feet. There you go. So the other thing I was going to say is if you are making a mini-me of somebody who's maybe had a baby, that's a perfect accessory to give your doll in your hand, and that would be easily recognized by anybody. Oh, don't do that, Mum. Stand still. And you can find a baby making tutorial. This is a felt baby making tutorial, nothing else, on our YouTube channel as well. So go have a look for that if you think a little baby might be nice. However, if you've ordered from us recently, or if you go onto our website, we have got a free tutorial of how to needle felt a tiny little baby too. So you could do that too. So let's have a look. We have got, what else have we got? I'm just looking at I need to find out who the winner is, because I didn't get that. So that would be good to hear that. And what else is there? The large soft doll head will be amazing. I'm really looking forward to it. I've just started to make my second doll, says Faye. Brilliant. Denise says my birthday is in March. Oh, happy birthday for you in March, Denise. And if your birthday is in March, Rainbow Fairy, which is a perfect birthday fairy. If you don't know about our fairies yet, oh God, that was the amethyst that just fell down. This is the fairy for February, which is the amethyst fairy, and she is actually holding a real amethyst. And the make for the maker's box is a Valley sheep with her lamb, and this is just a lamb because The sheep's on the floor. Sorry about that. However, if you're into valley sheep and lambs and whatnot, then you can also join our weekend hug, which is taking place in March. And in fact, tomorrow, which is the 10th of February, we have got tomorrow we have got a question and answer Zoom for you to ask questions if you want to join us, but you're not quite sure. And I'm hoping, I haven't told people that yet, but I'm hoping that people from the last one will come and join us to tell you what it was like when they were actually doing this with us. So that's basically, oh, my mum's knitting. Sorry, mum, there's your knitting. Let's put that in your arms there. And I will find you the other knitting needle, I promise, because that's no good not having the other knitting needle. You won't be able to finish your jumper. So there you go. That's my mini doll done. That's my mum, and her feet need to dry, her shoes need to dry on her, and I need to do a little bit of sewing on her, but I will finish her off, and then I show you her with a picture that I have of my mum next to her, and then you can see whether she looks like her or not. And you can do the same with the people that you've chosen to make a mini me of. I can't wait to see yours. I'm going to have to perch her up because her shoe is not drying with me messing with her. So I'm going to perch her against on the Everyone a Maker mug. Remember, join our Facebook group, Everyone a Maker, and there we would love to see your mini me's already, but the actual competition is on our main Facebook page, the Makers with 2 S's, and our Facebook handle is the Makers, as you can see it here behind me, the Makers with 2 S's.co.uk. That is our web address, but it is also our Facebook handle. And then on Instagram and on Twitter, we are just squiggly bit at the Makers with 2 S's. Right, let's have a look. So where are we with all of this? Oh, Erica has won today. Well done, Erica. That book is on its way to you potentially, because I need to talk to Emma about this, because we were only meant to send it within the UK. So I need to double check that, Erica, but maybe he can send it to us and we send it to you. That will be absolutely fine. Right, thank you so much for watching and for supporting us and all the rest of it, as always. And if I don't see you before, I will see you on Thursday. And yes, make your mini-me and share it with us. That's what we're asking you to do. And until then, love you all and see you soon. Bye bye.